Hey, it's time for the latest review, where I go over a series of albums that I didn't do a formal review of and just kind of talk about them gauntlet style, in one short video after the next. And that's all. So this is the latest installment. I hope you enjoy it. We'll link you to a playlist of other Review videos at the end of it. So here we go. Whee! A lot of people have been asking me what are my thoughts on EARTHGANG and the new EARTHGANG material, and I think it's pretty decent. Like, for a southern rap outfit, like, they have tight flows, they have melodic elements as well, like they have a lot of those eccentricities that you want in a southern duo. Like, I definitely hear like Goody Mob reverberating in their music and artists like that, but do their songs and does their style like stick out to me beyond that? Not really, but there's certainly a nice baseline of talent and ability here. Like, I get why they're appealing to people, but it's just not really sticking out to me. But, if you're looking for some good southern rap music with nice quality flows, classy, jazzy, kind of mystical production, give this thing a shot. Apocalyptic, sad, depressing, dystopian drones for the end of the world. Ah! 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 Oh my god, it's Ronny. He made a whole project full of bangers with a lot of different rappers, and a lot of the songs are pretty catchy. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. Some of the features aren't that good, but the beats are banging and they hit really hard, and it's a loud album and it's fun. Wow! Yeah, this is just kind of an average indie rock album at this point. Some post-punk vibes here and there, but just kind of phoning it in. Okay, Pouya, I'm talking about your album. I've listened to it, okay? I've listened to it. I've been listening to it. I've been hearing it. And I think it's okay. I think it's all right. Your flows are fine. You got that gritty, dark, southern rap style. Feeling those 3-6 Mafia vibes, I get it. It's kind of cool. But vocally, stylistically, it doesn't really stick out to me. It just doesn't stick out to me. It kind of goes hard, it kind of bangs, but I don't find it super catchy. The lyrics are all right. Some of the aggression's cool. There's definitely attitude there. But I don't know. It just feels a little one-dimensional to me. I don't know. It's fine while it's on. Why would Albert Hammond Jr. do a solo album just to do like basically light variations of Strokes songs? I wish this record was basically the last Strokes album, but just performed and recorded well, and with Julian singing, obviously, because I don't know, man. This bleh, 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 bleh. I guess this is some kind of decent, super epic, high gloss indie rock. It's not much edge to it, and not all the songs are catchy. Bleh. I don't know, man. Between the Buried and Me used to put out some pretty cutting edge stuff back in the day, but now they're just kind of like watered down prog metal. And the idea that this is the first of two parts of something, it's not terrible, but it's not thrilling either. I don't know. It just feels kind of safe for the genre. And I don't know, not really going to hold my breath for whether or not they're actually going to be taking risks or doing something groundbreaking or intriguing on the next part of this thing either. So, da-da-da-da-da-da. I was so excited to review whatever the next Carpenter Brut project was going to be after you guys turned me on to this music, and I felt like this is a moment when an artist sort of decides they're going to come out with a big kind of splash, a big commercial record, and in the process of doing so, they kind of change their sound in a way where they no longer are playing to their strengths anymore. And the inclusion of kind of, I don't know, more traditional song structures and more vocals on this new release over here really just kind of watered down and weakened Brut's appeal and sound. And maybe in another context on another album it could work, but I don't find those things to be all that well executed here. So it's a little underwhelming, unfortunately, but still a lot of that cool 80s groovy synthwave shit that's further back in his discography is still very nice, and I'm still enjoying that. So, This album took so frickin' long to come out, but it's here. The 3-3, or the third installment, the new Dabrye album, and honestly, in comparison with 2-3, which was the last record of his that I listened to, the beats are not quite as weird or dark or cutting edge. A lot of good features on this thing, though. Like, it's basically a who's who of underground, left field. Like, you actually want to hear these MCs because they're fucking cool and they're like way out of like the norm. They're unorthodox as fuck rappers because they're really creative. They're off the beaten path. You have greats and classic dudes on here like MF Doom, and you just kind of go down the line to some of the newer cats on here as well who are actually equally talented. But much like nearly every other producer album that you're going to run across these days, it's a mixed bag. It's all over the place. Like, the quality of the song really kind of depends on the quality of the feature. The songwriting is okay, but some of the beats, some of the instrumentals that kind of are interspersed in between some of these feature tracks, I don't know, some of his blander beats, in my opinion, but it's not bad. It's not a bad listen. I think we can say without debate that this is the worst Ministry album. It's the worst one. Of Montreal, kind of coming through a little bit of a bounce back here from their disastrous previous record, Innocence Reaches. This one is alright. It's a lot funkier, it's a lot groovier. Some of you guys who like the dancier tracks off of Hissing Fauna and Sunlantic Twins, you'll definitely like instrumentally what some of this album has to offer, but vocally, lyrically, and as far as songwriting goes, like, these are some of Kevin Barnes' most phoned-in tracks. I do appreciate that he was trying to go a little experimental and ambitious here with how the songs on this thing are formed, creating these like half songs where there's a transition and then you go into a different track entirely, because the track list is relatively short, but every song has like multiple phases to it. So that element of the composition I liked quite a bit. But to me, these songs were really just obnoxious and continued to wear on me as I listened through the album. While it's not one of my least favorite of Montreal albums, it's certainly far from one of the best. I enjoyed Frahm's last album quite a bit, Spaces, I believe, or at least that was the last record of his that I covered. Really beautiful, minimal piano passages all over that thing, dizzying, hypnotic, wonderful. This new record, though, kind of takes those same minimalist vibes, but they add in some electronics. It's a lot more faint sonically. The sounds and performances are not quite as bold and vivid, and as a result, I just kind of ended up going comatose during my listens of this thing. I mean, it's pleasant, it's nice to have on in the background, but I didn't find it to be very engaging. I'll say that much. Well, well, well. There's a new Decemberists album, and it sounds kind of average. The songs are really plain, and it's probably their most predictable release ever. Indie folk is just not doing too good. New Yola Tengo over here. It kind of reminded me quite a bit of the last record of theirs that I covered. I think it was Fade, where they were almost going in like this kind of psychedelic, very smooth, very low-key, droney, almost ambient direction. But it seems like they're going down that rabbit hole even further on this new one over here. Like, this is so faint. This is so faint, to the point where it doesn't even really feel like a novel experiment right now. It just comes off kind of lifeless and drab. Yeah, I just don't see this album doing much to cut through the noise of the modern age. But, you know, maybe this is going to be a little indie oasis for a lot of people. So I guess if you're looking for that kind of thing, something that's really going to turn the volume down and allow you to just shut off from the aggression of the outside world, this will do it. There's a riot going on, and we're just kind of sitting here having a little powwow quietly in the corner. We're pretty desperate right now for like a new face in the world of trap music if this is blowing up. I mean, it's not terrible, but it just seems so average, you know? I mean, the beats are pretty run-of-the-mill. There's nothing really about Greedo that sticks out to me lyrically, vocally, stylistically. I mean, he's certainly versatile in that he can both rap and sing, but I don't find a lot of his hooks to be all that sticky. It just kind of rings to me as being okay, you know. It's just kind of all right. It's not really that weird. It's not really that eccentric. It's not really that groundbreaking. It's barely even memorable in my opinion. But I don't know. What the fuck do I know, I guess? I guess I don't know anything. This new Kraus album is actually one of the freshest and most interestingly produced shoegaze records I've heard in a long time. The sound is so psychedelic, it's dense, it's incredible. The colors, Duke, the colors, it's all just washing over me. It's just expanding my mind sonically. But the thing is, the songwriting is just okay. The vocals, I think, are pretty underwhelming, not that interesting. I feel like this project is more of one of just sonic wizardry than it is musical composition. The sounds are great. But the songs, bleh. The new IONNALEE, formerly I Am I Who Am I, whose work I've enjoyed and reviewed in the past. To me, this just felt like a really long, overblown electropop record that was kind of dark, a little mystical, but nowhere near as cutting edge, nowhere near as legitimately eerie as some of that earlier material that she broke out onto the music scene with. It's okay, it's fine, but it is very long-winded for me, you know, and just sort of average for her. Not really that adventurous, but I don't know. She's certainly more interesting than your average electropop artist, you know, but this is just not her best work in my opinion. This new record from Lucy was actually kind of solid for the indie-tinged singer-songwriter genre. Didn't really stick out to me in that style of music, but the vocals are pretty solid, the songs are decent. I guess I can just come on here and say that if this is your vibe, if that is exactly the kind of thing that you go gaga for, most likely you will not want to miss out on this record. But for me, that's something more I go crazy for when something feels like a real artistic peak in that style. To me, this didn't feel like that, but certainly not a bad record for that sound. Sishin, have you given any of these albums a listen? Did you love them? Did you hate them? What would you rate them? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe, and please don't cry. Just leave an angry comment if you're angry, and live your life. Live your best life. Over here next to my head is a YUNOREVIEW playlist, as well as a link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, forever.